Aaron, I really want to thank you for being just a really outstanding colleague on the school committee. I think there are several things about, my experience working with you that I wanted to highlight. You really, I think, have always focused on what was good for the school committee, even if it didn't necessarily align with your own personal interests. And I, think back to conversations we had about making sure that school committee members were getting exposed to different experiences and different subcommittee assignments. And you were willing to do anything that needed to be done. And you were also willing to give other people opportunities to expand their own learning. And so I really did appreciate that. You have caused me to think about things more deeply, and I've so appreciated the way that you have been not afraid to speak up about different issues, even if your position or viewpoint was in the minority, and you really have always stuck to your convictions. You have an excellent way of looking at issues and thinking about how things will present to the finance committee or town meeting, and thinking ahead to how we can convey our message more succinctly and more persuasively to other people in the town. And I remember when you presented, when you were chair to town meeting, and I just remember feeling like that was just an incredible presentation, and the way you conducted the presentation, and you had photographs in it, and it was just different from anyone else's presentation as chair, and I remember it being so remarkable and so powerful, and it really has stuck with me all this time. You've been just an awesome colleague, and I'm sad to see you go, but I know that you will move into an advisory capacity, I hope, as some of our other ex-school committee members have done, and we wish you well, and thank you for all of your years of service to the school committee and the students and staff and families of Needham.
Michael.
You're going down the road. Thank you, Andrea. I think you said most of what I might have wanted to say. So let me focus instead it just hardly seems like it's been 10 years that you've been part of this committee. And I remember, you were involved in an override that we were all involved in before you joined the committee. And already you were thinking about how to communicate. And I guess if there's one thing that I think about is what you bring, both for your history and your professional career and experience as a journalist, is clarity of thinking, the ability to communicate, the importance of communicating, the importance of thinking about where our audiences are, who they are, and how we have to reach them. We are still struggling with that, and I think we will struggle with that for a long time, especially in this very strange media environment we live in. And you've been, I think, an incredible guide to that. I had the privilege of actually being your vice chair on the way through, and I really just enjoyed working with you. You handled your term as chair so smoothly, and every chair has interesting and different challenges. Yours were no exception, but it was just a pleasure to work with you. And I think you also brought thinking about people with different backgrounds, different people with differences, and how to respect and think about our entire community that I very much appreciated from personal experience and just from being out in the community. And it's been a real pleasure, but I think if there's one thing that I take away is just the constant thought about how we communicate and being thoughtful about that I know we will benefit from years to come. So look forward to continuing to read that byline in the Boston Globe, and look forward to connecting on some of those things and hopefully keeping you involved in some way. Thank you so much for being our colleague.
Liz.
It's been a pleasure to serve with you, Aaron, and I'm going to keep mine pretty simple. I value how gracious you are when you are responding to people who are presenting, and while you are preparing to ask questions. I value the focus that your question brings, and I also value that you're not afraid to share your view, even when that goes against other ideas that are out there. So thank you for all of those.
Dylan.
Mr. Pressman, I've only been here for a short while, but I've definitely been able to appreciate your thoughtfulness and thoroughness, and it's something that's really stood out to me. And just to echo what a lot of my colleagues have said here today, I just wish you the best, and I really do appreciate the work that you've done when I've just been here. It's been a short time, but I really do appreciate it.
I would agree with the sentiments that my colleagues have shared. Aaron, it's been a pleasure to work alongside you. My first exposure to you was as a town meeting member when you were presenting, as Andrew was sort of mentioning, at the meetings, and I was very impressed with your presentation and your convictions and the passion that you showed for our community and our district. And to now work alongside you and as a newer member to the school committee, just sort of your approach in terms of helping and guiding and informing, and look forward to your continued communications and outreach that you provide to the community. So thank you so much for all that you've done.
I think Mr. Spangler, Matt wanted to speak as well.
Yes, thanks, Connie. Aaron, I am sorry I can't be there in person to thank you. But, I was thinking about what to say, trying to think of 3 words or so that maybe capture for me anyway the contributions you've made or working with you. But knowing that you're a newspaper man and appreciate brevity, I'll choose 1 word with 3 definitions, which would be critical. And one of the things I've valued is, as others have mentioned, you haven't always agreed with the pathways or policies that we've taken and have expressed how you felt about it candidly and openly. And yet always behind all of that, another thing I've valued is that it's been with some unbelievably powerful critical thinking, the type of which I think we want our Needham graduates in the portrait to aspire to. Someone who's looking at the merits and the faults of our path or where we might be heading, and then being able to articulate it and express it in ways that people can understand and appreciate, even if it's a differing opinion from others. And finally, I don't think we would be where we are as a committee or as a community or as a district without you over these years. So you've been absolutely critical to our success and not just the contributions you made till now, but I think really setting the stage as we look forward to how we interact as a committee, how we look at policies and ways to move forward. I will miss you. I know we will miss you, but congratulations for, as Michael said, almost a decade of service, if not a decade. So well done. Thank you.
Thanks, Matt.
So I could echo what everyone else has said. I won't repeat everything. I have so appreciated working alongside you, and we didn't always agree, and that is so important. But we all have always have been able to come to decisions, and whether or not compromise is the right word, we're able to come to a decision that's in the best interests of our district, our staff, and our students. I so admire your focus, your intensity, your attention to detail. And behind that attention to detail is a real thoughtfulness about how we can do something better, how we can say something better, how we can meet the needs of our population better. And I cannot thank you enough. It's been a great experience for me, and I think for all of us. The schools are better for you. We're all better for you having been here, and we know you're not leaving our community, so we'll still get to see you at town meeting and other places. But what you have brought to this school district over this time is pretty special. And we have a little something for you, but I think Dr. Gutekunst may have had a word.
Just, a couple things. Everything has been well stated. When I think about Aaron Pressman, I think about 3 words and a phrase. Advocacy, because he's been a tremendous advocate for the Needham Public Schools throughout the community and when he's at this table. His passion, and sometimes that passion would come out in emotion, but that showed how strong his belief and his feelings and truly where his heart has been on issues. And that also speaks to him being a caring person. For all of our kids, our teachers, that has come out in all my interactions when he was chair and it was just Aaron and me talking together, or if it's been at this table and it's been in public discussion. The person that he is in the room with you is the same as the person who is at the table with you in public. And that is, that's important. That's an important quality. The last thing, this is a term I think Aaron probably coined, and it's this, fake news. And I say that because he's had to, as a leader, call out some fake news about things that sometimes come up about the schools, whether that's around budgets or programming or whatever. And he's been unafraid to do that, and I think that served the district well. So I don't know if you coined that term, but I'm glad that you did it, even if you didn't coin the term. You called it out. So thank you, Aaron, for your service to Needham Public Schools.
First of all, I would love to thank my colleagues on the committee today, and also the 4 members of the committee who I served with who aren't with us today, who aren't on the committee anymore: Joe Barnes, Sue Neckus, Heidi Black, and Kimmery Nichols. And just thank them also, and thank you for being great colleagues, for collaborating on this important, critical enterprise that we're engaged in here of helping the Needham Public Schools be the best they can be and giving our public service to the town, which is so important. I also wanted to thank the people at the other side of the room who are, all critical to making the public schools so great here and have made the school committee look good time after time after time on so many issues, informing us and keeping us ahead of the curve. Also, I would like to thank Tom Campbell and Christine Brumbach, who used to be over there when I first started and also helped improve the schools so much. I learned a lot being on the school committee, and I think if maybe that's ironic, if I have a message to people listening, it's that the town needs more people to volunteer, whether it's on the school committee or all kinds of other things, whatever your interest is. It is not a heavy lift. It is really important, and I hope everyone will join in. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I think perhaps this will be a little more time for your family at times, although your new position seems to be taking a lot of that as well. But I think it's Michael said, we're going to keep our eyes on those bylines, which is to stay in touch a little bit. And we'll see you at town meeting soon.